Hi, and welcome to Teacher Talk, brought to you by LifeChanger of the Year. I'm Mallory Minash. I am the Program Director for the LifeChanger of the Year program. Today, my guests are Melissa Hruza and Devon Karbowski from adoptaclassroom.org. Thanks for joining us, guys. Adoptaclassroom.org offers a free, easy-to-use platform that provides flexible and accountable funding for teachers and schools. This holiday season, LifeChanger of the Year has partnered with adoptaclassroom.org on a special campaign. So here's how it works. For every LifeChanger nomination we receive, the National Life Group Foundation will give $10, a $10 donation and the name of that nominee to adoptaclassroom.org's COVID-19 Relief Fund for teachers and students. The more K-12 employees we get to celebrate this season with LifeChanger nominations, the more money we can also raise for a really important need. So 'tis the season to give and to celebrate. Thanks again, Melissa and Devon, for joining me. Can you guys tell our listeners a little bit about how adoptaclassroom.org works and what types of programs and support you offer, as well as how an educator could get started using the program?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having us. We really love the opportunity through Life Changer of the Year to talk about teachers and elevate them. AdoptAClassroom.org is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1998 to help teachers get the funds they need for school supplies. Even back in 1998, teachers were spending far too much of their own money out of pocket on school supplies. Today, they spend an average of $745 a year on school supplies. It's a lot of money, especially when they don't necessarily make as much money as other college educated professionals. So Adopt a Classroom's there to help them get the resources they need in many different ways. One, teachers can create a classroom page on our site and crowdfund in their communities for the supplies they need. They also can apply for grants through adoptaclassroom.org. We fund a variety of different things, everything from high needs Title I schools that just need money for basic supplies, to our art fund, to our racial equity in schools fund, or even STEM. So it's a good thing for teachers to just get signed up and keep an eye out for those supplies, supply opportunities that they can apply for or just be selected for. Another great funding source through Adopt a Classroom is our corporate sponsorship programs and our donors. They're always coming to the site and looking for teachers in their area or near their headquarters or in the locations where they have stores where they can support a classroom in need. So it's just great to have a page on our site, even if you don't have the time or energy to crowdfund this year because of everything going on. It's still great to go to adoptaclassroom.org and register your classroom, create a classroom page, and you never know who's going to find it. There are tons of folks right now looking to support educators, so it's a great resource for them. With Adopt a Classroom, the funds are flexible. So you create a classroom page, you give us a general description of your classroom and what you need. And then right away, you can start receiving donations that you can use on Adopt a Classroom to order supplies. So you're not really boxed into a certain dollar amount or a certain goal. You can set a goal, but that money is available to you immediately, and you can purchase the supplies you need as the donations come in. You can hold on to them for up to a year and purchase something bigger. The goal is just to give teachers that flexible funding we know that they need to respond to the students in front of them. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them to get those items.
That's great. I love that you're giving the educators the flexibility to really choose how they're using those, because who else knows better how to use the funds than the teachers in the classrooms themselves. So it just blows my mind that there are educators out there spending more than $700 a year on classroom supplies out of their own pocket. We hear stories all the time through our Life Changer program of nominees doing this too. And we know that you guys have done some research on this. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we every couple of years we try to do a survey with all of our teachers to get a sense of what's happening with spending for, what they're spending out of pocket on school supplies. And since Melissa and I have been at Adopt a Classroom, these past three surveys we've done, their spending goes up every single year. It never stays the same. It never reduces. It's always increasing. So, in like 2015, teachers were spending around $600, and like Melissa said, now that's up to 745 as of June 2020. And that's the average. We are hearing, unfortunately, a lot of the teachers that are coming to us for help, they're spending among the most money. So we've interviewed teachers who are talking about spending thousands of dollars out of pocket. And even in our own survey, 28% of teachers are spending more than $1,000. So it's not insignificant. And part of this, is that teachers see the need and they see like these are the students that don't have any supplies. So I need to make sure that they're not being left behind. And that isn't just all covered with a budget. When we surveyed teachers, their average budget was just over $200. But when you have a classroom of 25 to 30 students, that's not going to be enough to get you through the school year, especially when you have more than one classroom a day. Not all teachers just have one set of students. For example, art teachers, they might have all the elementary students are coming to them, and so they have to spend a lot more money on those consumable supplies. So yeah, unfortunately, it just that teacher spending just keeps going up.
Another thing I would add too is we hear a lot from teachers that they need supplies and support more than ever in 2020, even with distance learning. Our survey showed that 70% of teachers are dropping off or mailing items to their students' homes during the pandemic. And that's because a lot of students don't have access to technology at home, or they don't have access to school supplies at home. So in the classroom, you have the challenge where students can't share supplies like they used to. So teachers are trying to make up for that and make sure that every student has their own paper, pens, what have you to use in the classroom. But then for those students that are distance learning at home, teachers are really showing up at their doorstep with supplies to make sure that if they don't have access to technology or it's really been a challenge to them, they have headphones, they have worksheets, they have pens and paper, they have what they need so learning can continue, because that is really something that teachers know more than anyone is a challenge this year, and it takes supplies and support to teachers to make sure that we address this in our country this year.
Yeah, and just this spring, even that little bit of time where everyone was switching over to distance learning for 2 to 3 months, almost half of the teachers we surveyed said that their spending increased because of switching to distance learning. And just because they now have to do their job from home to keep students safe, but they're not getting money to now have the resources to teach their students from home. And like Melissa said, they're still delivering supplies. So they're paying for those supplies to bring students so that they can stay engaged. And teachers were spending over $250 out of pocket just to get their students through a couple of months of learning remotely.
Wow, unbelievable. I'm so glad that you guys have done this research and you are just increasing awareness of this. I think we know that teachers spend money out of their pockets, but those numbers are really, really high. And Melissa, I think you mentioned this on a educator's salary. I mean, that's a big chunk. So, paying for school supplies is not the only thing that educators are taking on. We see story after story of school employees addressing their own specific causes through social issues of interest that they may have in their schools and their communities and broader. How can school employees use adoptaclassroom.org to, I guess, raise awareness or funds for a cause that they may have?
Yes, so we see this as well, a variety of different social issues or even just community building opportunities that teachers are coming to Adopt a Classroom to support. I will say, in addition to supporting teachers, we also support administrators. So we have a school program. If there are principals or we have school social workers, librarians, others support staff that can go to Adopt a Classroom and create a school-wide page for. We're seeing that happen for computer and technology, more school-wide projects. But for teachers, we see everything from like a gay student alliance program that they want to create at their school and supporting that with materials or bringing in speakers. We see teachers that are looking for diverse books to better support students of color and build community at their school. That's a huge need, especially this year with distance learning, where kids can't share books. So having access to diverse books is really important for teachers. We even see teachers who, especially special ed teachers, are creating, hygiene kits, making sure that students have these basic supplies for whatever reason. Maybe their student population is homeless or dealing with food insecurity. A lot of teachers are kind of the first responders to that need, and they're buying granola bars, they're buying toothbrushes, hairbrushes. All of those needs can be funded through adoptaclassroom.org. We have a marketplace of 30 different educational vendors, everything from staples to school specialty or Lakeshore Learning. So you can get cute things for your classrooms, or you can get hand sanitizer. We kind of have all those basic needs met. But if there's something that you want for your classroom, like a speaker, online field trip, or a special book, you can just reach out to us. And as long as it's something that's benefiting your students, we're likely happy to help you fund it or use your Adopt a Classroom funds to pay for it. Anything you would add on that, Devon?
No, I think that covers it.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually want to jump back to something that Devon shared a couple questions ago, and that was about how each year you're seeing the amount, I guess, increase that educators are asking for. So you're obviously seeing changes year to year, and this year, I mean, what can we say about this year? This year is just unbelievable. So with COVID-19, has that impacted what you're seeing in terms of not only dollars asked for, but just overall needs? What's changed this year?
Yeah, so, and there's kind of that's a good question, because there's so much, the need continues to increase, but it doesn't seem like there's the awareness that goes along with it. So a lot of things that we hear people say is like, well, my child's teacher is now teaching remotely, so into this new school year, why do they still need school supplies? Or maybe they don't have children in school, so they're really not aware of what's going on with teacher spending. But unfortunately, we're seeing the need greater than ever before, because so at the end of the last school year, like I mentioned with the June 2020 survey, the need was for basic school supplies, but also things like printers, so that teachers could still get packets made for students and then go drop them off. And that was by far the biggest need. But then at the start of this school year, the needs immediately changed. Now the number one purchase thing with donations on adoptaclassroom.org was things like PPE, safety equipment, hand sanitizer, because now there are many teachers entering the classroom and they have to continue keeping their students safe. But there's also, throughout this year, that it's like overnight there are these changes, because a lot of teachers are facing problems with this hybrid learning model, with not having enough resources, because now they have to purchase things like PPE, as I mentioned, but then also the distance learning supplies so that they can still keep students engaged. And that's making spending higher than ever before. The needing to raise more money, and then also just teacher burnout is in effect, because teachers are juggling all of these new things that they didn't know that they would have to learn when they entered the profession. But we've also seen teachers are doing a really great job with what they have, and they're adapting very quickly, but it's coming at a cost, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've been so impressed and motivated by the teachers we work with this year. Um, how far they can make $250 stretch for their students to get them supplies, or how they've gone above and beyond to keep students engaged, whether that be calling them almost every day, interacting with their parents on a regular basis. Teachers have become tech experts and almost customer service experts to make sure that that parents know how to get onto Zoom, and that the kids are on learning every day. And can you imagine trying to navigate a group of kindergartners on Zoom? It would be really a big challenge. So they have to be more motivated than ever to come up with engaging ways to keep learning going. I mean, students are still getting grades this year. Students are still preparing to go to college or learning those basic skills they need to be, our future, to be our next generation of artists and engineers and doctors. And so it's important that, like LifeChanger of the Year does, we elevate those teachers who are so inspirational, and we continue to give them support, because burnout is a real problem in the teaching field, and there's so much more our society can do to celebrate those teachers. So we're happy to be a place, as is LifeChanger of the Year, where folks can celebrate teachers and give them support they need.
You guys are doing phenomenal work. I mean, I'm sure you know that, and I'm sure you hear that, but it really is impressive, and I can't imagine the impact that you are making. So, if teachers and school employees, schools want to find out more, learn more, get started, where do they go?
Yes, you can go to adoptaclassroom.org. You'll see at the top of our website a link that says for teachers, or a link that says for schools and principals. Just follow those paths on our website. You can register your classroom or school, and create a classroom or school page to start fundraising, or you can just learn more and sign up for our mailing list to start understanding what we provide, hear about grant opportunities when we do have those big $1,000 grants pretty frequently for teachers. We also have partners that are doing giveaways for teachers in schools all the time. So all of those are a great way to get started.
And if you're a teacher and you are hearing this and it's like, well, I didn't enter the profession knowing how to fundraise or how to apply for a grant. Like, this wasn't what I needed when I was in school. Well, we also have a lot of resources for teachers who want to learn more about how to fundraise, how to reach new donors, what are best practices for applying for a grant, when we take you step by step. So even just like going to the website and looking at resources to see what you can do and how we can help, or just look around and we walk you through it. And you can always reach out to us as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really great. Well, I want to thank you guys, Melissa and Devon, for taking the time today to share all of this really good information. And you certainly enlightened me with adoptaclassroom.org, but hopefully our listeners too now know how they can get started with it. So thank you again for joining us. You guys do such great work. As a reminder to our listeners, for every LifeChanger of the Year nomination received between now and the end of the year, December 31st, the National Life Group Foundation will donate $10 to adoptaclassroom.org's COVID-19 Relief Fund for teachers and students. So please start thinking through who you can nominate. As a LifeChanger, these are any K through 12 school employees, full-time, part-time, across the nation. It's a wonderful way to show your appreciation, to celebrate educators this time of year. We talked a lot about teacher burnout. Maybe this can help with some of that burnout by providing some well-deserved recognition, and at the same time giving well-deserved money to the COVID-19 relief fund that adoptaclassroom.org has developed. So no cost to nominate. It only takes a couple of minutes. We can do a lot of good this year. Thanks to all of you out there listening to Teacher Talk, brought to you by LifeChanger of the Year. Don't forget the nominations close December 31st. Thank you. Happy holidays.